Why speak in parables? It's such a good question that the disciples asked Jesus. Why not make it clear to everyone? Jesus' response reminds us of two things. First, the gift of understanding the kingdom is a grace. It is an unearned gift. Secondly, Jesus draws our attention to Isaiah and reminds us that we must respond to the gift that is given. Grace and response. On the face of it, it seems really clear. But in application, we risk misunderstandings, judging others for not responding, judging ourselves even for not working hard enough, as if salvation is earned. Even Jesus' response today feels somewhat ambiguous, almost like the parable itself. But perhaps that's the point. There are multiple faithful ways to understand the parables. When we try to apply them in only one way, we lose their richness, their ability to apply to our lives in multiple ways. So with that in mind, let's turn to the parable and explore it from three different angles. First, we turn to our own spiritual lives. Perhaps all the types of soil in the parable may be about each of us. There are times and places in our spiritual lives in which the path seems so well worn that we lose the freshness of the word and it is snatched up. There are times in our lives when we have that first flush of joyful zeal, when we feel like we're miraculously running on water like Peter, and then we look down and fall. There are rocky times when we witness disciples arguing with one another over who is greatest, and we experience the human failures of the faith community and become disillusioned and withdrawn. There are also times when thorns of anxiety take root, and we can't seem to trust in God's love. Times, too, when the thorny echo chamber of media consumption threatens to choke the word. And by the grace of God, there are times when the word flourishes within us and bears fruit beyond our imagining. While reminding us that God does the sowing, St. Augustine also points out that we are workers in this field. We're called to the work of plowing, removing stones, and pulling up thorns. As ministers, we must attend to this work in our own spiritual lives, even as we accompany others to attending to it in their own spiritual lives. And this is our second lens. The wisdom of St. Jerome points us to the importance of accompaniment when he notes that the crowds hear in parables, but the disciples question at home. Now, you've heard me say that faith formation in a crowd is different than faith formation in one-on-one accompaniment. To a crowd, we carefully balance